This just might be the most expensive office chair in the world. The current holder of this title sits at a $36,000 price tag, but I believe this chair could potentially be worth more and dethrone this reigning champion. I spent countless hours attempting to track down this chair. When I started, I expected a simple path, but what unfolded was a saga of over 400 hours invested, many twists and turns, and an end result that only a select few will ever get to experience. I gave myself two objectives. One, find out if this really was the most expensive chair in the world. And two, I was going to sit in that chair. But there was just one problem. I had found out that there was a chance that this chair didn't even exist. What most people think when they hear the words world's most expensive chair is that it must be made by some designer brand or maybe even a designer furniture company. But you would probably be shocked to find out that the company had never sold office furniture before this chair. The company's name is Embraer. Founded in Brazil in 1969, they are a billion-dollar aerospace company that sells executive aircraft around the world. In the executive jet market, Embraer is known for their beautiful design jets, such as the Phenom 100, a smaller jet that costs about $3 million, and the Praetor 600, one of their larger jets that sits at a $21 million price point. Keep in mind, because Embraer produces executive jets, this puts them in the luxury market, focused on serving high-end customers, executives, and owners of companies. And it's not uncommon for luxury brands to release unique products outside of their niche. Take Porsche, for example. They sell a $15,000 e-bike, and even Mercedes sells a baby stroller. Embraer has followed suit by providing another luxury product that an existing customer may want to buy because it's from the same brand. Someone with a $21 million jet is one of the few that can afford to spend thousands of dollars on an office chair. So how does a multi-billion-dollar company go from selling planes to selling office chairs? So I think the game plan in order to be able to actually sit in this chair is going to be to contact a bunch of people working at the company and see if someone can connect me with the right person. And in an ideal world, I would tell that person that I'm working on a documentary and see if they'd be open to featuring the chair in the video. In 2019, Embraer celebrated their 50th anniversary and reminisced about their rich history as a company. Similar to the car industry and how they create futuristic concept cars, Embraer created a concept of what their next 50 years would look like. They called it the Pulse concept. The project shows how an aircraft could become multiple forms of transportation with a pod form factor, allowing their passengers to quickly change modes of transportation without ever leaving their vehicle. And if you look close enough, you'll see it. The chair. This is where it all began. Right there on a jet designed for 50 years in the future. This means it has all the design elements, high-end materials, and ergonomics worthy of a futuristic executive jet. But just because an aerospace company creates a futuristic concept of a jet didn't explain how they got to the point of making office chairs.
So the chair, the seat inside that looks incredible. Chase, our designer, was designing out the interior. And I said, Chase, I think we're going to need to make an office chair out of that. And lo and behold, I was able to work with Chase and make that chair from the Pulse into an office chair, because it was not only a teaser for aerospace interiors, but can we flip the paradigm, which is why we called it the paradigma. And paradigma is paradigm with an A on the end. And that's phonetically pronounced because it's a Portuguese word for paradigm, paradigma.
Along with a paradigm shifting chair comes a highly intentional design and attention to detail. After seeing the features on this chair, I was really hoping I'd get a chance to sit in it. So right now I'm in the works of contacting someone at the company, and so far I've sent emails and I've made phone calls, but both of them I've had to just leave messages. And at this point, I think we're just waiting on responses, someone to reply.
The paradigma office chair is switching a paradigm. The paradigm is, rather than aircraft interiors be inspired by furniture and great furniture designs, why not the aircraft of the future inspire the office chair you can have today?
But you may be asking yourself, what kind of impressive features would a chair like this have? The chair displays a detailed pattern inspired by the sidewalks in Ipanema, Rio de Janeiro, located near where the company originates. But it doesn't stop there. A multi-billion-dollar company has the capabilities and the engineering team to be able to build some high tech for a product like this. Specifically, they focused on the base of the chair and how they could improve it from a standard pole with wheels. So I just heard back from someone at the company, and they said they can connect me with the VP of design and set up a meeting. They made it sound like this was the person who actually led the project, so fingers are crossed. And at this point, they told me just to hang tight and that they'd be in contact soon. This chair really did seem to have it all. Well, everything except for the fact that it still may not exist. And that's where the mystery behind this starts to get good. But there's just one more thing that we need to understand first. This concept chair wasn't the only chair that I found to be produced by Embraer. Embraer also produces a line of paradigma chairs with multiple variations currently available for purchase. They even created a limited edition paradigma chair. This is the chair that retails for $36,000. Embraer has said they will only produce and sell 22 of them. And with such a low quantity available, they are able to charge this premium price. Due to this price, it could technically be considered the most expensive chair in the world, but for that to be true, it would mean that the original chair would have to not exist. You see, if we look at a simple supply and demand curve, the data shows that as the quantity of chairs available decreases, the price of a chair increases. So let's compare the $36,000 chair that has 22 existing to the original concept chair. If the original chair has fewer existing, then it could mean the price would technically be higher, crowning it the world's most expensive chair. The only question we're left with is, how many of these chairs truly exist? So the meeting just fell through. Not really sure what happened. I guess it just wasn't able to happen. But now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. You see, these chairs, though they don't look identical, are related to each other. First, we can look at the original paradigma chair, which started as an idea in the company's larger concept project. I believe it was used as a concept in the beginning to see what an office chair may look like coming from an aerospace company. And I have good reason to believe that all of the images found online of this chair are simply 3D renders rather than a real-world model. I spent hours searching for photographic evidence that this exists in the real world, and if it does exist, it's being held very closely by the company. Then we have what I'm calling the production paradigma chair that was adapted from the original after it went through the review process to meet manufacturing requirements, build efficiency, and material costs. This review process essentially made it more cost-friendly, but in my opinion, took away some of the heart and the originality of the first original concept chair and replaced it with armrests. This theory would mean that the production chair was likely the only chair that was ever produced, leaving the original paradigma chair to never have existed as a physical product. But I said at the beginning of this that I was gonna sit in that chair. So how am I gonna sit in a chair that doesn't exist? Okay, so after finding out that this chair likely doesn't exist, I've got this idea that I can't seem to shake, and it might be slightly crazy, but what if I were to build a replica of the original chair? The base would have to be replaced with probably a standard office chair base, and the reason for that is I don't think there's any way that I could build the base on my own. I mean, the fact that it took an entire engineering team at Embraer to design and build that probably means I can't build it. So if I swap the base, I don't know, I kind of think it might be possible. Now, with all of that said, this would be a crazy amount of work, but I might just be crazy enough to try it.
I remember when we said everything will happen, and we knew we'd never fail, we would never die. I wanna forget myself again, so that everything can happen. Will you please call me by my name and tell me little lies? We will never die. We will never die. We will never die. We will never die. On an island in the shade, the city is on fire. Kissing water from your face, the sky is in your eyes. Don't wanna forget a single day. Could it really happen? Will you please talk to me and do it straight and say that we
It took 419 hours of building just to sit in a chair. If you guys have made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe because I've got another video coming out that I think you'll also enjoy. So the chair itself is pretty comfortable. And even though it's not technically the world's most expensive chair, I'm still pretty happy with how this whole thing turned out. What's even better than just getting to sit in the chair is getting to sit in the chair and keep it. So for legal reasons, I will not be selling this chair, and I have no plans of selling this chair. So I've gone ahead and added a few personal touches with the domicile logo because it'll be staying here in my home office. If you guys are interested in learning more about the chair, maybe you have questions, there's a link in the description that covers a bunch of cool facts about the chair, as well as a behind the scenes video that will go way more in depth than this video did about the actual build of the chair. So if you're interested in that, follow the link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.